Good morning, everyone. Since our Honorable Principal Sir is with us and our speaker has joined, so with due permission, I would ask the permission from our Principal Sir to
Okay,
begin with the
Sanchari, you
web.
can start the program.
Hello?
Sanchari, you start the program, no problem.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah, yeah.
So, good morning, everyone. Welcome to this enlightening webinar on the illegal wildlife trade and zoonotic disease. We are delighted to have you join us today. This event is jointly organized by the PG Department of Conservation Biology and the Eco Explorer Nature Club of Durgapur Government College, along with Sarisha Wildlife and Ecology (WNE). We are grateful for the support and collaboration with WNE, with whom we have memorandum of understanding to further our shared goals in wildlife conservation and education. The illegal wildlife trade is one of the greatest threats to biodiversity today, leading to the decline and extinction of numerous species. It also has significant implications for human health as it can facilitate the spread of zoonotic diseases that jump from animals to humans. Understanding and addressing these issues is crucial for both conservation efforts and global health security. We are privileged to have our esteemed principal, Dr. Devnath Palit, with us today. I would like to invite him to share his valuable thoughts before we proceed to the webinar. Over to you, sir.
Good morning to you all. Thank you, Sanchari, for a nice introduction of this program. And on behalf of the entire Durgapur Government College family, I'd like to express my sincere gratitude and heartfelt thanks to our distinguished resource person. And I must congratulate the departmental head, Moitri Madam, and all the faculties of the Conservation Biology Department. Yeah. And always, as mentioned by Sanchari, that we have a move with these NGOs, and they have been worked particularly on the illegal wildlife trafficking, everything for the last couple of years, and so many things that they experience. And I think the Natures Club of Durgapur Government College has newly launched in our college, and with the tremendous or wonderful contribution of my learned colleagues as well as the research scholar, then the students of the conservation biology particularly, we will try our level best to do something in our locality as well as in the college campus. So with these few words, and when Sanchari is the host, so no need to tell everything about the objective of the program and how things are going on. Very nice host today's, and when so with these few words, once again my sincere gratitude to the resource person, and congratulations to the entire organizing committee, conservation biology department, the Nature's Club, and the NGO. So, and students, scholars, and the faculty, I think you will be one of the most enriching sessions today. With these few words, I wish a grand success of this seminar. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your kind words. I would now like to request Dr. Topojit Bhattacharya, Assistant Professor, Department of Conservation Biology, Durgapur Government College, to kindly introduce our honorable speaker. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Sanchari. Thank you so much, Principal Sir, for joining with us in this crucial and timely topic of illegal wildlife trade and zoonotic disease. We are honored to have with us a passionate and dedicated expert in the field of wildlife conservation and zoology. Our esteemed speaker, Mr. Akash Padhan, has an impressive academic background with a master's degree in zoology from Fakir Mohon University, Balasore, and a bachelor's degree in zoology from Ispat Autonomous College, Rourkela. His deep-rooted interest in wildlife biology, ecology, and toxicology has driven him to excel in his studies and pursue a career in wildlife conservation. Mr. Pradhan has actively participated in numerous seminars, workshops, and conferences where he has shared his insights and gained valuable knowledge. He has attended workshops on wildlife management, squamate taxonomy, and conservation of mangrove pita, among others. His dedication to the cause is further evident through his work experiences with various organizations, including Earth Crusaders Organization, Wildlife Trust of India, and the Center for Wildlife Studies. Throughout his career, Mr. Pradhan has worked on several conservation projects focusing on human wildlife conflict management, habitat assessment, and species conservation. His expertise in handling reptiles and amphibians, coupled with his knowledge of GIS and bioinformatics, has enabled him to contribute significantly to the field of wildlife conservation. In addition to his professional achievements, Mr. Pradhan has also been recognized for his exceptional skills in wildlife photography and has won awards for his contributions to the field. Today, we are fortunate to have Mr. Akash Padhan to share his knowledge and insights on the illegal wildlife trade and its impact on zoonotic diseases. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Pradhan to the virtual stage. Over to you, sir.
Hi everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Okay. So is the camera is visible or not? Okay. So first of all, I would like to thank the Durgapur College authority for conducting this fabulous, fantastic webinar. In this webinar, we are going to discuss some of the great factors that are affecting human wildlife trafficking, illegal trading, and how that is related to zoonotic diseases. So, with that, I would like to also thank Sarisha Wildlife and Ecology Society for inviting me as a speaker. So, today is a great day of World Wildlife Day. So, in this occasion, I would like to congratulate everyone. And you have to think about the wildlife because we are the students. Because I am a student of However, I was a great admirer of nature and natural resources, more specifically animals, wild animals. I always sit and observe their behavior because I was fortunate that I used to see organism in my day-to-day life as I am a resident of foothills of Debrigad Wildlife Sanctuary, Borgad, Odisha. During my BSc period, I suddenly came across a dramatic incident in a camera trap. During our field visit, we installed some of camera traps. In that particular camera trap, I saw a striped hyena infected by dermatitis, which is rare. That is not does not happens in regular life. So I there is a question come in my mind that where the striped hyena is affected by the dermatitis. So then I came to know about different diseases, epidemiology, and zoonosis. So before going deep into the subject, did you know where how far we are standing in terms of conservation, biodiversity, and natural resources? So my answer is we are at 176th position among the 180 countries in terms of biodiversity and conservation. So being a great country, being a country like India where the biodiversity and natural resources is so abundant, we are unable to conserve that particular things, so that we need certain kinds of awareness and certain kinds of influence in ourselves, so we can think about the natural resources, wildlife, because all these are connected. Without the human population, the human existence has no meaning. So one simple example, our team was working on conservation of Alexandrian parakeet from illegal trade in Raulkela division. So when I was working with my colleagues, I simply, at that time I was new to this wildlife background. So I simply asked my colleague where we are doing this kind of things where there is no meaning of, like, we do our part of awareness campaign, but what the students and what the opposite party is accepting, that we don't know. So I was always enthusiastic that where we are doing this kind of things, where we are wasting our times and money in this particular conservation efforts. So at that particular time, my colleagues say, wait and watch. So after some day, in that particular area where we have sensitized the people, at that particular area, Alkala division, they have seized 82 numbers of parakeet from illegal trades. So that directly affected to my mind, and that hit my mind that no, a small step can also create a big impact in case of wildlife. So in this occasion of wildlife trade, I would like to request everyone to at least think about conserving nature and natural resources. Then we will think about the applicability. So I would like to thank the Durgapur College administrative for inviting me. So let's go into the topic. Sorry for the disturbance due to some network issue. There is not. This is not going. Now is my screen visible? Hi. Hi. Am I audible to all of you?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay. Due to some issues, there was a some disturbance. Okay. So illegal wildlife trade and hunting. So first of all, what is the meaning of illegal wildlife trade and what is the meaning of hunting of a specific organism? So in this particular slide, you can see the definition of hunting: killing, poisoning of any kind of wild animal or captive animal also. And every attempt to killing, poisoning, destroying, injuring,
Sorry to
capturing,
interrupt you, sir. Your slides are not moving. Please go to the presentation mode.
okay, is this now moving?
Not yet.
Okay, let me see.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay,
Can you go to the presentation mode? Yes.
okay, now.
Just click on that.
Oh, hell, okay, okay. Hi. Now I am audible.
Yes, you are audible, sir.
So is my screen is moving?
No. You have to share the entire screen. Then only it will move.
Okay. Okay. Wait.
Otherwise, you have to do this like this only. You have to describe each slide.
Okay. So is this will be okay?
Okay, no problem. You can do that.
Okay, okay. So in this slide, you can see that what is hunting. So killing, poisoning, or any kind of animal, wild animal, captive animal, or every attempt to do so can be called as hunting. Second definition: capturing, coercing, snaring, trapping. That can also includes in the hunting pattern. So injuring a animal captive is that may be a captive animal or that may be a like wild animal. That can also come in the specific zone of hunting. So what is wildlife trade? So poaching, capturing, collection, smuggling, or illegal trade, all this can be called as wildlife trade. Illegal wildlife trade is a very environment-related crime that involve illegal trade, smuggling, poaching, capture or collection of endangered species, protected wildlife, and the derivatives of that particular organism can also be called as wildlife trade. The illegal trade undermines the rule of law, supports corruption and money laundering, facilitates the spread of zoonotic disease, and has some links to terrorism also. So in this particular slide, you are seeing that illegal wildlife trade also facilitating the spreading of zoonotic disease. So how it is going, how it is spreading the zoonotic disease, we will talk it later. So in this slide, you can see that illegal wildlife trade is the fourth most profitable global crime after the trafficking of drugs, humans, and firemen. So it's the fourth most profitable business for the illegal wildlife traders. So 7 billion to 25 billions market cap is of wildlife trade and hunting. So every 5 minutes a pangolin is poached in the wild. Every 15 minutes elephant is killed for their ivory, just for some people's fashion and some people's interest to keep ivory as their monuments, trophies, and all. Every week, at least 200 freshwater turtles and tortoises are trafficked. For some people say that turtles and tortoises are the symbols of prosperity and health. So every 24 hours, a rhino is poached due to their horn and all, because some people think that these derivatives of animal product are directly related to their health, their prosperity, their sexual power, and their wealth also. So only Southeast Asia alone contributes 8 to 10 billion dollar per year. So Southeast Asia is the biggest market and biggest hotspot for wildlife trade and hunting. How it is going on, we'll discuss in later. So you will be like more enthusiastic about wildlife trade and hunting, where you will know that tiger numbers are decreased 96%. That means 1 lakhs, near about 1 lakhs individuals were present in decade century ago. Now it is only restricted to 4,000 individuals. So these are the some like Odia newspaper cutouts that I am getting every day to day life from different newspaper news articles in Odisha. So in this first slide, you can see that deer meat is like directly sold in the market, and forest department gets seized that particular thing. Bhitarkonika crab is exported to China, and you will be like laughing by knowing a story that some peoples of Nuapoda area, they killed a leopard and intake their meat also. So it's an interesting story. Elephants, tigers, pangolins, deer, spotted deer, sambar. These are also most traded animals in this particular era. So 12,000 pangolins are trafficked between 2080 and 2022. These are some of the statistical data that are concluding how illegal trade is going on. So 37,267 turtles were seized between 2015 and 16. That's a great number. In 2016, 15 tigers were poached, and that is the highest number in previous 10 years. More than 70,000 native as well as exotic species weighing up to 4,000 kg were trafficked between 2011 to 2020. That includes the COVID-19 pandemic times also, from 80 airports. So over 9,253 poachers were arrested between 2012 and 2018. But the main problem of police department, custom department, forest department is that the conviction rate of these poachers were very less due to the some loopholes of the law system of India, due to the loopholes of some like machinery and some forest machinery and all. They are diverting this whole case in such a scenario that they are escaping from that particular case. So these are the main wildlife trafficking routes of India. So you can see West Bengal and Odisha. These are the two most hub for wildlife trafficking routes from because these are the border states that allows the wildlife trader to go by sea route also or go by the air route also. So these two are most hotspot region for wildlife trade and hunting. So most commonly haunted, what are the most commonly haunted mammals and most commonly haunted reptiles and most commonly haunted birds in India? So tigers, leopards, sloth bear, four-horned antelope, black bug, monkey, otters, spotted deer, barking deers, and porcupines, pangolins. These are the most haunted mammals in India. Most commonly haunted reptiles that are including the crocodiles, that are including the monitor lizard, naja naja, sand boa, Russell's viper, and star tortoise also. There are also some kinds of birds that are most commonly traded during this whole period of time, that are Alexandrian parakeet, rose ring parakeet, myna, jungle fowl, pigeon, and peacock also. So most common hunting method. So it includes different kinds of equipments that are used by the hunters to hunt animal. So gun is a like more sophisticated way to kill an animal. This is the equipment for rich people. They generally use gun. These are mostly used for hunting of like more carnivorous animal, because we can go so near to them. So there are different kinds of traps and the different kinds of like wares equipments that are used by the local peoples and traditional peoples to kill a particular organism, and most commonly these are used for tigers, leopards, sloth bear, and all. So bow and arrow. This is most commonly used equipment in Odisha. I don't know about the West Bengal and all, but I am thinking that this will be most useful for the hunter to use. So most of the things, bow and arrow, are dependent upon luck. So how you are using that bow and arrow, it depends upon you, how you efficient you are killing an organism. So this is the most common way to kill an organism. So, and most easiest way to kill an organism for wildlife trade is electrocution. So yearly in Odisha, more than 70 to 80 elephants, and like that, more than 70 to 80 elephants were killed due to the electrocution by the people to get their ivory, get their toast, and some wild other animals also for their meat and all purposes. So explosive also more commonly used during this particular thing. So you must have heard about the news that in some area of Tamil Nadu, Kerala, if I am remembering correct, the Wayanad Wildlife Division, some of the people, they feed an elephant with explosive, a pineapple filled with explosive, to a pregnant elephant, and that pregnant elephant get died after some time after the explosion of that particular explosive. So hunting dog is a traditional method where the trained dogs are mostly used to kill some of the like smaller reptiles and smaller animals also killed by the hunting dogs. Most preferably smaller organisms, smaller carnivores, smaller herbivores, and reptiles are killed by hunting dogs. So capture from burrow, smoking, and digging. These methods is also commonly used for those animals who are deep burrowing animals. Means they are living in caves. They are burrowing some sorts of hole and living there. This method is generally used for them so that they dig into that particular thing and they capture that particular organism. So these are some traditional methods. Here you can see a traditional trap where with the help of a stick and help of a rock they are capturing small birds and small reptiles. These are some of the traditional methods where so you must be thinking that what are the driving factors for illegal wildlife trade and hunting. So there are many more drivers like traditional Chinese medicine, pet trade, and some superstitious, some sorts of like medicinal value. They are hunting a particular organism for their purpose. So traditional Chinese medicine that is more commonly used for like a health condition, for strengthening the bone, for increasing the sexual power, from increasing the immunity power. The traditional Chinese medicines are made so that people of China and people of world are consuming that for their beneficial purposes. How true they are working, it's the question, but they are using it. And you must have every household have some sorts of Alexandrian parakeet and rose ring parakeet for beautification of the home, and for their talkative nature. They are captured for like entertainment purposes. So there are different kinds of horn, different kinds of tusk, different kinds of nails, and different kinds of derivatives of organism that are used for ornaments, that are used also for trophy, collection, accessory, fun, and force also. So the most wildlife hunting is done for the protein source, for the meat, because some of the traditional people, they directly rely upon the jungle and jungle derivatives for their nutrition, for their food purposes, for their livelihood. So they generally prefer wild animals to kill and intake their meat for their protein source, because they have no other options. So some sorts of superstitious that Sandboa is generally known as the god of prosperity. Some sorts of tortoises and turtles, they are like uh, worships as god. Some occupational recreational hunting. I have told about the occupational and recreational hunting, that people of traditional people, they have no other option rather than hunting the wildlife. So in this particular slide, you can see tiger claw is generally used for courage, strength, what, and to avoid the evil spirits. Monitor lizard is generally used for meat, blood, and vitality. So tortoises in our area also, there are many traditional peoples, tribal peoples. They are now also they are consuming turtle meats for their daily purposes. So turtle shell, that is good for bone, nutritious, and libido, for increasing the sexual power. And red sandboa, that is also count as the prosperity, that is a material for prosperity for some of the peoples. So how it is impacting the society, how it is impacting the global economy, how it is impacting the terrorism. So in this particular scenario, you can see there are many corruption that are related to wildlife trade and hunting, because wildlife trade and hunting, that is illegal work. So that there is no specific data and record maintained for um, their habitat, and they are doing things, how long these are doing, how it is done, and what will be the price of that particular things, and what will. So these are creating some of the corruptions for the people, that are they are increasing the money themselves. So it is directly related to also arms smuggling. So in Kenya and in some area of that particular terrain, Somalia, Kenya, these are poor states, poor country. So they generally hunt the wild animal and they sell into the international market, and they get some, instead of that particular thing, they are getting armed without any license and without any record. So the biggest impact is extinction and extirpation. So what do you mean by extinction? Extinction is that the eradication of that particular organism from the world. So it is dodo. You have heard about the dodo song. So this animal is completely extincted from the world now. There is no evidence of, and no evidence and no clue of dodo nowadays. So extirpation means the removal of a particular species completely from a specific place and specific area, like cheetah, that is not present in India now. In 1 or 2 years, the India government is trying to bring them back to India, but how it is going to work and how it will affect the condition of India, that is a big question. So these are the two most impactful thing that are having due to wildlife trade and wildlife hunting. So food chain collapse, climate change, these are the main things that are affected by the wildlife trade and hunting, because it is directly dependent, because in food chain a particular organism is dependent upon another, this particular organism, if this particular organism is dependent upon this organism, if this organism is eradicated from the local place, then this organism will be eradicated very soon, because it will not get food, it will not get that particular environment, it will not get that nutrient and all to survive. So climate change, that is also a biggest impact in this particular scenario. So how I related illegal wildlife trade and hunting to zoonotic diseases. So zoonotic disease spread is the biggest impact of illegal wildlife trade and hunting, because of there are many diseases that are not native to India. They come from different parts of world through illegal wildlife trade and hunting. So zoonotic disease is that some diseases that are transmitted from an organism, from a mammals or from a animal that is vertebrate to an organism like mammals to us. So wildlife trade and hunting is directly affecting the zoonotic disease spillover. So these are some legal provisions: Wildlife Protection Act, Pets of Rules 2018, Prevention to Money Laundering Act 2002, CITES 1972, Prevention of Cruelty to Animal Act 1960, Custom Act 1962. So these are some legal provisions that are try to stop the illegal wildlife trade and hunting. So these are some agencies that are related to crime of crime control of illegal wildlife trade and hunting, the Convention of International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora, that is CITES, Interpol, United Nations Office of Drugs and Crimes, World Custom Organization. These are some organizations that are constricting and restricting the illegal wildlife trade and hunting. So you must have get some knowledges about how wildlife trade and illegal wildlife trade and hunting is related to zoonotic disease spillover. So in the next slide we will know something about zoonotic disease, how it is affected by the illegal wildlife trade and hunting. So what is zoonotic disease? So zoonotic disease is, am I visible?
Sir, your zoonotic disease presentation is not visible yet.
Okay, now it is visible.
Hello?
Now it is visible.
No, sir. Sir, kindly stop share, stop the sharing and then again represent.
Okay, okay, okay. I'll do that.
And this time kindly use the tab entire screen, then I think the screen sharing will be available.
Okay, I'll do that. Now it is okay.
Yes, sir, absolutely. And the full screen is also visible.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
Yes, sir.
So, what is zoonotic disease and how it is related to wildlife trade and wildlife hunting, illegal wildlife trade and illegal hunting? So, before going deeper into zoonotic diseases, we have to first understand that some kinds of relationship between two organisms. So, first thing is commensalism. In this particular thing, one organism is getting benefited from other organism, and instead of that particular thing, other organism is neither getting any benefits nor getting any harm. So one is getting benefited while other is neither helped or not harmed. The second is parasitism. What is parasitism? The parasitic organism, that the organism that is relying upon the host for their nutrition and for their entire life expenditures. So mutualism. In mutualism, both the organism will get benefited. And in amensalism, neither organism get benefited, but one organism will be harmed by the other organism. And commensalism, neither organism will be benefited. In this particular thing, the two competition, interspecific and interspecific competition will be occur, who will win, that will be like win the race of life. So in this particular thing, you can see the two things, that is parasitism and that is amensalism. So in most case of the diseases like zoonotic disease and any communicable disease, non-communicable disease occurs due to two things, mostly in two things, parasitism and amensalism, and some sorts of competitions also. Competitions only occurs in like animals and organisms. So these two are mostly they are mostly responsible for most of the disease in humans and in mammals also. So what is a disease? Disease is a particular abnormal condition that adversely affect the structure or function of all or part of an organism, and it is not immediately due to an external injury. So you are going to a particular place and you fell off and your hand has broken, so it cannot be called as disease because it is done immediately and external injury, so it cannot be called as disease. So disease is categorized into mainly three types: epidemic, pandemic, and endemic. So what are epidemic, pandemic, and endemic? Epidemic is an unexpected increase in the number of disease cases in a specific geographical area. In a specific geographical, the disease is spread, that can be called as epidemic. Pandemic, so you in your past you have already heard about COVID-19 pandemic, COVID-19. So this is a pandemic. Disease growth is exponential. This means the growth rate skyrockets, that it started from the China and that skyrocket throughout the globe. So and each day the case grow more than the prior day. So COVID-19 is the biggest example of pandemic. So what is endemic? Endemic means consistently present but limited to a particular region. This makes the disease spread and rate predictable. So if we take account to Kolkata, so in a particular area of Kolkata, like Durgapur area, in a particular area of Durgapur, there is a disease, we can call it X. So that X disease is present only in Durgapur area, and that is not spreading to the subsequent area and not skyrocketing. So that can be called as endemic. So what is the meaning of zoonotic diseases? So zoonotic is an any disease or infection that is naturally transmissible from vertebrate animals to humans. So what is the meaning of this? Meaning is that a certain types of disease that is transmittable from wild animal, from domestic animal, from any sorts of pet animal to human being, that can be called as zoonotic diseases. There are over 200 known types of zoonosis that are till now present in our surrounding. So zoonotic disease is multifactorial. That means they directly depend upon the agent, host, and environment. If one of the things is not present in good condition, then zoonosis cannot be happened. So for happening of zoonosis, you need certain types of environment, certain type of agent, and certain type of host. If the three things will be okay, then zoonosis will be spread exponentially. So for spreading of zoonosis, mainly need three things: host, that is a living organism that provides shelter and nourishment to a disease-causing agent, or a pathogen. That can be a pathogen, that can be any type of living organism that is providing the nourishment and shelter to a other organism, that can be called as host. So in most of the cases, the host is directly or indirectly affected by the zoonotic diseases. So source is a place where infectious agent and germ and live and can spread to other places. That means the life living place of the particular disease can be called a source. So what is reservoir? So a place where disease causing organism lives, grow, and multiplies. So in this particular thing, there are many reservoir in zoonotic diseases, like some household animals, some wild animals, some sorts of reptiles, some sorts of different kinds of birds also act as reservoir. In that particular reservoir, the parasitic, the bacteria, and the virus will enter, and entered by a vector, and that will exponentially grow. And that then through different kinds of things like biting, through their like urination, through their excretory material, they are spreading to other animals and other organisms. So what is vector? Vector in simple words, by using the vector, the parasites, the virus and the bacteria are going to reservoir, and from reservoir it will go to the host, and from host it will go to the environment directly. So how zoonotic disease is transmitted to human? So it can be directly through direct contact like rabies and all. It are directly transmitted from an organism to animals, from to humans. So indirect contact by poultry farms, by polluted water. If the disease is spread by polluted water and poultry farms and through different kinds of organisms indirectly, that can be called indirect contact. So through food and water, the disease also can be spread to human. So vector borne. Vector borne is the most interesting and most like spreaded disease in case of zoonotic diseases. So in this you can see the population is growing rapidly in this particular era. Population is growing rapidly, and when population is growing rapidly, their demand for animal source food is growing day by day, because land is restricted and land is limited, so they are directly relying upon the animal source food for their nutrition and for their daily maintenance. So due to high demand of animal source food, the intensification of livestock production also grows. Like in a particular places there were 50 cows. So due to the demand of animal source food like curd, meal, the farmer will pack it with hundreds and more than hundreds of cows, so to get more profit from that particular thing. So intensification directly leads to high pathogen burden. So in a particular area, if the carrying capacity will be saturated, then over intensification can cause to different kinds of disease, high pathogen burden. So high pathogen burden that can create to vector that will attract the vector population, and that vector population will create emergence of new novel zoonosis, and that zoonotic disease will directly related to human health and nutrition. So this is how in this global scenario of overpopulation and over population growth, how the zoonotic disease is directly responsible to the humans, because we are creating the high demand and low supply of animal source food. So which population is harbor the disease means, harbor disease means that population is getting directly infected by the first infected by the bacteria itself. So cow in wild, gaur, elephants are more affected by the anthrax. After electrocution and illegal hunting, elephants are dying due to the anthrax bacteria infection. So soil, water, vegetation, and mammals, they are harboring this particular disease. So what gives us the disease? Bacillus anthracis is a bacteria that is related to the spreading of anthrax disease. So how we'll get the disease? So ingestion of uncooked or raw meat, inhalation of that particular bacteria in the air, or through any wounds that are direct that come directly contacting to the soil or water, that can lead to anthrax disease spreading. So in this slide, you can see the how anthrax spore and anthrax is spreading. So this is the dormant spore. Then dormant spore will it need any types of host or any type of organism that it will grow. So it directly depends upon the like mammals like cow and wild boar, like gaur. They depends upon that particular organism for their growth, and they are the dormant. In their dormant state, they can go to soil, water, air, and vegetation. What is the dormant state of particular bacteria? So that is a condition of that particular bacteria where they are inactive, and in the inactive case they are transmitted to soil, water, and air, vegetation. Then from soil, water, and air, it will consumed by the herbivorous, larger, smaller, and any types of herbivorous animals. Then that will be directly infect the host. Then in the host body, they will grow rapidly. They will start their infection period. So they get matured, and they multiply and active and produce spores and toxin. So directly from the host they will start producing spores and toxin. Then that will be directly affect another like mammals, and from another mammals if we'll consume raw meat, and if we'll consume the soil infected air and infected vegetation directly, then it will be affecting the human directly. So these are the whole scenario how anthrax is spreading from the environment, from an agent to an organism. So epidermology. Epidermology means how it started, how it grows, and how it is going on. So anthrax is nearly worldwide in distribution, occurring in the soil in the form of extremely resistant spores. Spores that means this is the inactive form. When you will get proper nutrition and proper soil, water, then it will regrow into infectious stage. So these spores cause infection in humans and in farms and wild animals that have grazed or on contaminated land or ingested contaminated food. The extent of the diseases is approximately 20,000 to 1 lakh cases annually worldwide. So you can imagine how an organism and how the global population is affected by anthrax annually. The condition is frequently documented in Middle East, Africa, Asia, Latin America, and in Indian subcontinent. Despite of vaccination, the vaccination on anthrax is going on, but due to the lack of awareness and due to some sorts of issue, everyone is not vaccinated. And okay, you can be vaccinate a domestic animal and domestic pet organism. So how you will vaccinate an wild organism? So that's a bigger question. So this anthrax spreading is not stopping yet. So epidemics of human anthrax has been reported in Russia and Zimbabwe first. So there are three types of in anthrax: cutaneous, pulmonary, gastrointestinal. So cutaneous anthrax, that is spreading from any kinds of wounds, and directly it is getting bacteria and bacteria from soil and water. So it is entering to our body through any kinds of cuts and any kinds of wound. So incubation period means that that particular bacteria is growing in the body of host without showing any kinds of symptoms. So these are the period where the bacteria grow into infectious stage. So usually develops in 1 to 7 days after exposure, but can take up to 17 days. After 70 days of infection you will get some sorts of symptoms, then you can predict, no, I have infected through anthrax. So this is a long time. So second is pulmonary. Pulmonary is through respiration. You are taking sorts of bacteria through inhalation uh, by air. Usually develops in 1 to 7 days after exposure, but can take up to 60 days to express their symptoms. Gastrointestinal, by eating raw food, by eating food without washing it, usually develops diseases and symptoms 3 to 7 days after the exposure of bacteria. So these are some common symptoms like fever, swollen lymph node, difficulty in breathing, abdominal pain, and loss of appetite. The most common symptoms that you can see in anthrax is raised and itchy bumps, like sorts of lesion in your skin, that directly is that is anthrax. So vomiting, throat pain, muscle pain, headache, these are some of the common symptoms that are in anthrax. But some of the severe symptoms like pneumonia, acute respiratory syndrome, hemorrhagic, means blood hemorrhage, and multiple organ failure can be caused due to anthrax. These are some of the severe symptoms. So who the peoples are most prone into the bacteria of anthrax? So livestock owner, butchers, veterinarians, animal caretaker, people working with in forest that are directly in contact with wild animals, the organism that are the human being and the population that is directly related, directly or indirectly rely upon the meat for for their protein source, they are mostly affected peoples. So what is the prevention care? So full PP, cover the dead organism with lime and bleach. You can see a elephant that is died due to the anthrax bacteria, and the person they are spraying some sorts of lime and bleach to that particular organism, so that the bacteria cannot be like buried into the soil, and that can later affect any organism. So no visible cut and bloated and bleeding that can be reported immediately to avoid anthrax. Do not touch water with bare hands in the area where anthrax is spreading. If you know that no, this particular area is affected by anthrax, so you have to take precaution that you are not touching the soil, you are not touching the water with bare hands. So improper cooking of meat, vaccination and livestock against the anthrax, these are the some sorts of simple prevention that can be taken care in case of anthrax. So you can visit hospital for diagnosis treatment in includes antibiotic and antitoxin therapy immediately that can eradicate anthrax. So second most affected disease is Nipah virus. So how Nipah virus is spreading? So Nipah virus that is going by a vector to a reservoir. The reservoir means where the bacteria or the virus will grow in number. So from the reservoir, when the reservoir get infected, when it will be feed upon the date palm fruits, so the virus that are transmitting from the reservoir to the date and palm fruits. So when an human that consuming that particular date and fruit that is bite by the fruit bed, then that will directly cause Nipah spreading. So the most important feature of zoonotic disease is it is intransmittable from human to human. That means it will infect from an organism and animals, random animals to human, but it will not infect and humans to human. It is transmissible from human to human. So it can directly infected pigs, and the person that is handles the mammals or eat the raw food, that Nipah virus will directly enter to that human. And but the most beneficial things of zoonotic disease, it is in rarely infects any other humans, means it is not directly transmissible from human to human. So who the bat population is directly harboring the particular Nipah virus diseases. So Nipah virus is the causative agent, and when an human is directly consuming the eat raw date palm sap, that is called tadi, that can be infected by the Nipah virus. So epidemiology in 1998, Nipah virus disease was recognized for the first time in Malaysia in person who were in contact with swine population. In March 1999, one outbreak of acute Nipah virus infection was recorded in 11 males worker in Singapore. Patients showed higher level of IgM serum. IgM antibody is produced when a virus is directly entered to the body. The first antibody that is produced is IgM, immunoglobulin meta. So what are the symptoms? There are different symptoms, like common symptoms like headache, fever, muscle pain, sore throat, vomiting, but some sorts of severe symptoms like respiratory distress, dizziness, drowsiness, and seizures also. These are the some severe symptoms that can cause by Nipah virus. So date palm sap collector or tadi trappers, forest product user, they are the most prone peoples to the Nipah virus exposure. So what are the prevention measures that we can take to avoid Nipah virus? Don't eat fruits when it has a bite mark on them. So if we avoid eating the fruits with bite mark, that it reduces the chance of spreading Nipah virus to 40 to 50%. So don't consume raw date palm or tadi. There are the main drawback of this particular thing is there is no vaccine available to prevent this disease. So what are the preventive measures? Wash the fruit that were taken from the forest before consuming. Boil date palm sap before consuming, like palm jaggery. Nolan goat or something like called in Bengali. So a famous sweet. So next is rabies. What is rabies? Rabies is a virus that is directly coming from a pet, that is more commonly dog, to a human. So rabies dog, the dog is the reservoir, means domestic reservoir, and in wild, bat and rat are the wild reservoir. So it when rabies dog infected dog bites a common human, then the rabies will be directly transferred to human. And when it will bite, and when the wild animal will bite any kinds of domestic animal, it will spread the zoonotic rabies to domestic animal. And when domestic animal will bite a common human or normal human, that it will spread. So the most important thing is no human to human transmission are recorded of rabies virus till today. So which people harbours the disease? Street dogs, street cats harbours the disease most, and rabies virus is the causative agent, and we will get the disease bite by rabies dog, rabies infected dog. So what are the symptoms? Pickling, itching at the site of the bite, anxiety, confusion, agitation, and the most dangerous thing is fear of water. This can cause due to rabies, and you have also seen different kinds of videos, different kinds of pictorial presentation of rabies virus. So pet owners and children who play with street dogs are most commonly affected people by rabies virus. So what are the general preventive measures that we can take to avoid rabies? So do not have an environment that encourages stray dog to live in your particular area and in your particular habitat area. So do not approach and play with dog displaying rabies symptoms. Means if a particular dog and particular pet animal is showing any kinds of abnormal activity, you have to stay alert from that particular organism. Prevention: vaccines are available for people before they are bitten. There are some sorts of vaccine, and get your pet vaccinated. That is the most safest way to avoid rabies. So, what are the preventive measures after the biting of the dog? So, wash hand for 10 minutes under the running tap water. Visit your national nearest health clinic for the consultant. You can consult a doctor and healthcare. So, get an vaccine, rabies vaccine, and follow up with the booster dose. There are two doses, mainly rabies vaccine and a booster dose. So the most commonly affected zoonotic disease to the field of wildlife biologist, that is scrub typhus. So how we get the scrub typhus? There is a scrub typhus bacteria. This is Orentina tusutagami. The Tutsugamushi. Orentina tutsugamushi. This is a bacteria that is affecting a scrub typhus. Then is when it will go into the normal life cycle, it will lay eggs, and when the eggs will be hatched, then it will form chiggers, and that it will go into different kinds of host like rodents, some birds that will infect directly, and from that particular rodents and from birds, the infected ticks are released to normal soil and water. So when a normal the infected scrub typhus will enter into normal soil and water, they will directly cause harm to a man that is directly related to that particular area. So when the chiggers bite will be occur, then it will cause scrub typhus, like scrub typhus fever. So which population harbor the disease most? That is small rodents and small birds. So what gives is the disease is that particular scrub typhus mm, bacteria. And how we get the disease? We will get the disease by bite of the ticks. So what are the symptoms? Headache, fever, muscle pain, and you will feel cold, and you will feel some itchiness at that particular area where the typhus bite will be occur. So mental changes ranging from confusion to coma will be occurred. These are the some severe symptoms of scrub typhus bacteria. So the people who spend a lot of time in the forest and hilly regions are more affected by this disease. So what are the prevention measures? Prevention measures spray insect repellent, and wear protective clothing when you are going to field and when you are going to your research work. Visit your doctor if you show any kinds of symptoms of the disease after being bitten by a tick. So what are the prevention measures? Scrub and all grasses are known to contain more ticks. No vaccine till now is available for the prevention of the tick bite. So leptospirosis. So leptospirosis is a bacteria. Mainly, it is a bacteria that is infected from like rodents. Rodents are the reservoir. So when the bacteria will infect and host, then when it will urinate in any kinds of water body and any kinds of urine come in contact with contaminated food and water, then when the contaminated food will consumed by a human, then it will cause an leptospirosis disease. So infected wound on feet that are swimming, the person that is swimming in this particular infected water, that can directly cause to leptospirosis disease. So contact of urine on eye can also cause leptospirosis. So no human to human transmission will be occurred in this particular disease. So which population harbors the disease? Small rodents are directly most affected people of that particular disease. So leptospirosis enterogonus are the bacteria of causative bacteria of leptospirosis diseases. So how will get the disease? Contaminated water, contaminated soil, contaminated food intake will cause this disease. So, what are the symptoms? Headache, fever, muscle pain, chill, diarrhea, jaundice, vomiting, rash, some sorts of rashes will be occurred, and kidney or liver failure and meningitis are some severe symptoms of this disease. So, farmers, mine workers, sewer workers, butcher, veterinarians, and animal caretaker, fishermen, dairy farmers, military personnel, they are most prone people of this particular disease. So, what preventive measure we can take? So, try not to swim in open air where the rat could have urinated. Eating food contaminated by rats is very risky. So, there are also more preventive measures that we can take. Can be treated by an antibiotic. So some other example of zoonotic diseases like viral zoonosis, avian influenza, Ebola, Marburg virus disease, bacterial zoonosis. Viral zoonosis, in viral zoonosis the virus is any sorts of virus. In bacterial zoonosis, many bacteria like brucellosis, cat scratch disease, Lyme disease, plague, these are caused by any kind of bacteria. Toxoplasmic is generally caused by Toxoplasmic gondii. So one big question that will come into your mind is COVID is a zoonotic disease or not? So COVID-19 can be called a zoonotic disease, meaning they are transmitted between animals and peoples. Detailed investigation shows that SARS-CoV, that is the general COVID virus, they were transmitted from a civet cat to human, and MERS-CoV, that is Middle East Respiratory Syndrome, that is called from come from camels to human. So the COVID-19 is directly spreading from humans to humans. So how it can be called as zoonotic disease? So the answer is that there are some sorts of coronavirus which are not yet not infected by the humans that can be called as zoonotic disease. So like SARS-CoV, severe acute respiratory syndrome, and all these were called as zoonotic disease where they are not mutated and they are not infected by human population. When they get mutated and they are infecting different kinds of human to human, that it cannot be called as zoonotic disease. But some of the novel coronavirus that are not yet infected human beings can be called as zoonotic disease. So here you can see COVID-19 is like they come from the illegal wildlife trade and hunting. Due to illegal trade and wildlife hunting, it's skyrockets from the China and distributed throughout the globe. So KFD and scrub typhus due to the cleaning of forest land, they are infected by the different kinds of rabies due to feral dog and dog population. There are some sorts of occupational hazard, like people living next to the forest handlers, forest guard, and meat people that they are directly handling meat. So these people are most prone to every sorts of zoonotical disease because they have no other options. Like people living next to the forest handler, they are bound to go to the forest and take some sorts of forest materials, forest derivatives for their day-to-day life. So they are affected by different kinds of zoonotic diseases. So the occupational hazards, like forest department, they are directly related to the forest, and they are invading different kinds of zoonotic diseases to themselves, and they are spreading to their family, their different kinds of family members and all. So the people they are directly dealing with the meats and all, they are also most affected person of zoonotic diseases. So there are some common symptoms of zoonotic disease: high fever, body pain, rashes, lesions, bite marks, chill, throat pain, cough, difficulty to breathe. These are the most common symptoms, some of the common symptoms. So if you get any types of these syndromes, please visit the doctor immediately, since it could be sign of an infectious or a zoonotic disease. So there are some sorts of general preventive measures: wash hand, prevent mosquito and tick bites, stay safe around animals and pets, safe food practices, avoid bites and scratches from the wild animals, also pet animals. Be aware of zoonotic disease around you. So these are the general preventive measures. Use full PPE, hand soap 70% ethanol, equipment 70% ethanol or 10% bleach that can eradicate many sorts of bacteria and viruses. Suspected anthrax cases: do not touch or cut open carcass. Safe disposal of used PPE, biological sampling, first aid, antivenom, anti-rabies vaccine. So by using these kinds of things, you can eradicate the zoonotic. You cannot eradicate, but you can control that particular zoonotic disease. So it's all about my today's presentation.
Thank you so much, sir. Now
Thank you.
I would like to request the participants, with due permission from our honorable speaker, if you have any queries or questions regarding the presentation, you can put forward your questions.
Okay, no issue.
So I would request the participants, if you have anything to ask to our honorable speaker, you can either unmute yourself and put forward your questions or write it down in the chat box.
Okay, you can ask anything, or you can also give some suggestions that we can spread to people, and you have any suggestions at all, you can also keep that. So
So our honorable speaker, sir, is kind enough to even take our opinions, which is a delight for
yes,
us and an honor for all.
that that can be great for me also to improve myself.
Very kind of you, sir. Sir, there's a question in the chat box. If you, with due
Okay,
permission,
sir,
can I
people in
ask?
northeast India consume dogs and hollow given meat, so will it spread zoonotic disease? Yeah, any kind of wild animal they can be infected. Like you have a control on like domestic animals, that you can vaccinate them, you can put some sorts of medicines and all to keep them away from the zoonotic disease. But the consume dog meat and all, given that they are wild animals, they have no preventive measures and all, so you can infected by different kinds of diseases. Which diseases you cannot, I cannot say particularly, but there are many diseases that are related to consuming foods and all. If they will cook that particular thing in a proper manner, that may be not infected. Like most of the parasites and most of the virus are heat sensitive. Means if you will cook in a certain temperature for certain time, then the parasite and the virus will die. So it cannot cause any types of diseases and any kinds of problem. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Is there any more questions? Okay, so we have another question from Ajay sir. How to prevent tick bite during nature trail from bird survey?
Okay, so Ajay, it's a good question. So, how to prevent tick bites? So, for preventing tick bites, you have a if you are going in a trail, so there is a thing called what is that called? Anti-leech protection socks. Leech protection socks and anything that you can wear, or you can spray also some sorts of insecticide. Or if you are going to field and if you are going to for some forest and all, keep in mind that you have to wear that particular thing.
Sorry sir, but you are muted. Your mic is muted.
Okay, now it is okay.
Yes sir. Yes sir, you are audible.
So can a zookeeper in the zoo become a carrier of disease to other animals when he has to maintain many enclosures? So mostly zookeepers are not infected by zoonotic diseases, because in a zoo there is a record maintained that this particular organism has adverse symptoms and adverse condition. They are showing different kinds of activities, so that track record is maintained, so that there is a chance that zookeeper can be infected, but there is lesser chance for in a zoo. Let's say being a wildlife biologist, I often need to go to forest for food survey. So how to prevent this from ungulated ticks? So for tick bites, you can take any kinds of repellent, insect repellent spray or anything, and you have to wear full sleeves and full shirts. Then after, if you get an tick bite, immediately you can throw all your clothes into hot water, then simply wash your body in running tap water for 3 to more times. If any parts of your body, like you are thinking that there may be a tick, you can just pull them back, then it will be okay. In a short period of time, if you will pull that particular tick, then it will be okay. After that, if it will release some sorts of mucus and some sorts of larvae, then it can cause tick fever. But immediately if you take out that, it will be not a problematic thing.
So we have two more questions. Should we take them? Sir, your mic is muted.
Hello.
Hello.
Now it is okay.
Yeah, yes, sir. We have two more
So,
questions. If you allow, should we take that?
okay, no problem.
Are there any zoonotic diseases associated with marine organisms?
So, according to my knowledge, so like zoonotic disease is more transmissible from vertebrates, mammals. Most of the reservoirs are vertebrate mammals. So there are no more of vertebrates mammals in marine. So it is till, as per my knowledge, it is not present.
Thank you, sir. The last question in the chat box. In some places like agricultural lands, wild animals like pigs and elephants destroy the farms. Since it is illegal to kill or hunt them, what is the way to reduce this conflict? Considering the point that farmers are not financially stable to build electrical fence around their villages and farms.
Okay, so first of all, if your land and if your crop has already been destroyed, so there are many schemes from the central government and state government also to get compensation. In Odisha, there is a common name called Anukampa. Okay, so there may be some different names, but there are several schemes of government that you can claim your things. But how to live without killing or harming the particular animal, and reduce the human elephant conflict? So the most important thing, you can like put some sorts of dummy any sorts of thing that can create a illusion of having a animal, having a human. So you can do that. Or when you are seeing that some organism is going through your field, you can just fire up a masal or fire up a torch, then they will go away from your particular area. So the most thing is that you don't have to do like people from our fathers and their fathers. They were used to these particular things because they were thinking that that particular wild organism is ours. Means, let them eat their part of things, the rest part will be ours. But when the central government, the state government put a thing of anukampa, then people think no, the organism is not ours. The organism is of forest department or central government. So these things are going on in minds. So okay, there are different things that we can do, like firing of some sort of torch and firing some sort of masal, uh, and creating large sounds that will like directly eradicate that organism from that particular places. So how to prevent spreading of rabies from domestic dogs and wild animals, especially villagers and around tiger reserve. So uh, to prevent rabies, there is the most important thing to avoid like feral dogs and all. So you can't avoid anytime. So you have to maintain a safe distance. A safe distance can only prevent you from the things. And if you are get bitten directly, you can go to the hospital, you can take the anti-rabies vaccine, and before the dog bite you can also take preventive rabies vaccination bite, so you cannot be affected by rabies dog bite.
Okay.
Rabies and diseases.
So, sorry, sir.
Oh, so these are all to avoid rabies. You can take the like pre-anti-rabies vaccine, so that will be easy for you, and that will be easy. And the government is also, and government and our organization is also now trying to like eradicate rabies from this particular area by applying vaccination and applying vaccine to the street and feral dogs to avoid the spreading of rabies.
I would request while our speaker is giving his opinions, kindly others, it's a request to mute yourself. Thank you. Sir, you may continue. Sorry.
I meant how to prevent wild animals from domestic dogs. So mostly, like wild animals don't attack domestic dog. Okay, so most of the wild animals will die in short period of time. So there is no like you cannot prevent wild animals to attack from domestic dogs because they are wild and they have their separate things to do. So if you are like if you try to do so, you can be affected by rabies and you can be a carrier. So don't try to like prevent wild animals from domestic dogs because they are wild animals. It is the law of nature that the fittest will be survive. So you cannot interpret in their particular thing to prevent a wild animal, to prevent a dog. The safest way to stay prevent yourself is stay out from all these things and keep yourself safe. So everyone will be keep themselves safe, then the spread will be lesser. Okay, so you cannot control a wild animal. You can say to me, okay, I will obey your decisions and all, but a wild organism and wild dog cannot obey your words. So you cannot control them. You have to just save yourself. That will be great.
Thank you so much, sir, for clarifying all the queries and doubts our participants had. I hope everybody is satisfied with the way he communicated with us. And
Okay,
we are truly.
I have one more thing.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
so next time when I will be able to go to Durgapur, so we will go to field. Okay, and we will demonstrate it practically. we can go to any sorts of field and any kind of these activities we can do practically.
That will be a privilege to us, sir. Thank you so much. And we would love to have you with us and have that kind of a field activity, because our students and others associated to the department are always keen to visit fields and have these kind of experiences. And with your guidance, I'm sure that that will be an one step ahead of knowledge as well as experience.
It will be my privilege.
Thank you, sir. So, since we have no more questions, I
Okay, so one more question. The WhatsApp community group, please share. So, Sanchari, we can do one thing. We can make a like WhatsApp group, and if any queries and anything or any thing will be go, then we can do that particular thing.
okay, sir. As you say, as per your suggestions, we'll conduct that WhatsApp group.
Okay, that will be great for all of us.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for your suggestion. So with this, we conclude our such rich and enlightening session. So to deliver the vote of thanks, I would like to invite Dr. Shondip Mujumdar, Assistant Professor, Department of Conservation Biology, Durgapur Government College, to extend his gratitude. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon to one and all who is present here with us for this webinar on illegal wildlife trade and zoonotic disease. On behalf of our college and the Department of Conservation Biology, I feel immense pleasure to take this opportunity to propose a vote of thanks. We express our sincere gratitude to our respected principal, Durgapur Government College, and Devnath Palit, for his constant encouragement and assistance to organize this event and to spare time from his busy schedule to be here with us to grace this occasion and give his event. We extend our heartfelt thanks and gratitude to our wonderful speaker of the day, Mr. Akash Padhan, Program Officer and OIC, Research and Conservation at Art Crusaders Organization, for accepting our invitation and to be here with us. I believe that he has enriched our participants with his insightful presentation. We are extremely thankful to him. We are utmost thankful to all the participants, students, and scholars for making this event a successful one. I also thank all the teachers and non-teaching staff of Durgapur Government College for extending their continuous support. And last but not the least, I sincerely thank all the members of our dedicated organizing team of Department of Conservation Biology, the Nature Club of Durgapur Government College, and Sarisha Wildlife and Ecology Society for enthusiastically organizing this event. Once again, I thank one and all wholeheartedly. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I would like to request our participants to kindly check the feedback link provided in the chat box. Kindly take some time out to fill that feedback link to receive an auto-generated certificate of this webinar. The link is already provided in the chat box, so please kindly go and fill that form. Thank you so much, and we hope to have this kind of webinars online as well as in offline mode in future. With this, we end today's session here. Thank you everyone for bearing with us and for your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.